Hello, welcome lovely people. Hello everyone. We have a puppy cam again. Ooh, this was Dante. Hello wonderful people. Welcome everyone. Today we are going to paint this frog. This is going to be a live tutorial again. And this is my sketch. I used this to create the step-by-step tutorial that is linked already in the chat. So on the blog you already have all the steps, so if you come in late or if someone comes in late, everyone can paint along, get all this done, even if you miss like the first steps or something. This is the result, and I promise you, I tested this is achievable for everyone. So I'm not going to paint in the sketchbook again. I will put this to the side so I can show it everyone who comes in later what we're actually doing today, because the first steps, as you know, they always look a little bit wild. I'm going to paint on this piece of paper. It's not square, but I will paint like on one side, leave the other one, and cut it off once I'm done. So I'm going to paint on this paper. It's 100% cotton. In case you paint more with watercolors, I suggest to get 100% cotton paper because it behaves better. But it's of course a price, like a higher price for the pad. So get whatever is affordable to you, and look for the local brands too. For paper, use any paper you have on hand that's watercolor, that's suited for watercolor. So you have less warping and everything. If your paper needs like to be fixed or something, you can use like clips or something. It's all up to you. What we're going to need is also watercolors. I use this palette that I've used for the previous tutorials too, so it's all the same setup. Oh, this will be good. Yeah, I think so. And this was a quick sketch I did to do the step-by-step. So I intend, when we do this together, to go a little bit more into details and zoom in, like especially like how to make the ears, etc. Because I feel like things like this, like to shape with shadows, can be super tricky, but we will do this. I can't draw. You can, Angel. Don't worry. So basic set of watercolors. This has 12 colors. It's student grade Schmincke Akademie. I use this to paint this too. Like you don't need specialty colors for it. You don't need anything. I used cadmium yellow hue. Lemon yellow is also fine, doesn't really matter. I used some cadmium red hue, some magenta ultramarine cyan, which is phthalo blue. I used a light ochre or yellow ochre, English red. If you don't have English red, Schmincke uses it instead of burnt sienna. So use burnt sienna whenever I use English red. And that's all actually that I used. So no, I used burnt umber, I think, like for the darker areas. But yeah, that's what we're going to use. Super basic, nothing fancy. If you have Van Gogh, use Van Gogh, great brand. You need some brushes, different sizes. My biggest is 8. Because I used the bigger paper, I might switch to a bigger brush. And the smallest is like, it's 2.0. I used, I think, a 1 on this one. Just some brushes you might have. A pencil and an eraser. It doesn't matter which ones you use, but a kneaded eraser is softer on your paper. And we're going to use some white gouache, which I have in this palette. We don't use the palette, just the white gouache, for a few highlights in the end. If you don't have white gouache, it's not a bummer. You can use a white gel pen, white ink, whatever you have at home. It doesn't matter. You can use that. And this is like all of the supplies we need. Get some clean water. Mine is in a dirty jar, but it doesn't matter. And some mixing space. I will use this palette so you can actually see what colors I mix and how they look. This is just a random ceramic dish that I purchased. Like, I think it's used for like some tea snacks, or I don't know. It's nice and flat, and I use it as a mixing surface. And I will use this so you can see all the mixes that I create for this painting. Are you okay? Are you ready? The first step is, of course, to draw. Oh, by the way, I linked the reference photo earlier on the blog, but I also can show it to you so you can actually see what we're working with. This is the reference photo I chose. I've painted this before. I actually have a tutorial on how to paint on wood and how to prepare wood, where I use exact this reference photo to paint the frog on a wooden piece. It's somewhere from a few years on YouTube. But I gifted the piece to a friend, and I really like the frog. So I want to paint it again, and I thought he would enjoy it too. So this is the reference photo that we're working with. But I also prepared, as always, the line art that you can go off and use to sketch your frog. I think if I put it like this, you should be able to see my working space here and the line art to go from. Sorry that you only get to see a little bit of Dante for a little while. But let's sketch first. I have a little bit to estimate to get this into a square size. So, and while we sketch, we can chat. So, how's everyone doing? Do you have tea? And that's what I meant with, don't be worried. You will, you will do this. You will have no issue sketching with me. So I start with the nose again. I painted it a little bit smaller this time. I've drawn. I'm not at painting yet. But once we paint, I think it will go faster, because it's always the case. The most work is usually to sketch properly, so you get in all the details. Pay attention to your reference. Go soft, and we'll be okay. Also, in the blog, I proposed to paint this either with or without background. I did this without background, I know, but you can actually do this, the same one, with a background, and it would be fine. But for a background, you need, oh, we have Dante hair here. That happens occasionally when I pet him and then paint. Then I get Dante hair all over the place. So see, I'm already at where I've been before. So pay attention to the fingers. Think of them as sticks with joints. I feel like it helps to kind of understand anatomy also better. If you think of skeleton, okay, bones don't move. Kind of thing. Okay. And frogs have like this fun little thingies there. I don't know how these are even called. This, I called it a branch. I don't know what this actually is. It's just a straight line. And I put a second one that's parallel to it. Around here. This line I really enjoy. Like this curve is super soothing to me. I also think it's why the chat is kind of quiet today, because many people are sketching and not talking to me, which is okay. But we do the painting streams occasionally. Hope you're okay too. How are you? I put places. My frog really wants to be a lizard. Sometimes we all have identity issues. It's okay. If it wants to be a lizard, we're accepting of this too. That's fine. To sketch this one, so this area is kind of, I feel, can be confusing. If you see this, I like to start with this finger. I call it fingers. I don't know if they have different names in frogs. I translated it into human anatomy. Then I put the other ones. One here. And then I can see one peeking out here. I have to extend this branch thing. And I think this one is actually from the leg. Then it intercrosses with the third finger here. It's basically, if this is his foot thing, it's like this, and his fingers go like this on top. But that's fine. This is another part of his foot. And then we can see in the background here, I think, a part of his knee or whatever it is. Like here. And we have here his hand, which goes to his body. It's a very tricky area. Ooh. Looking close, I can actually see another. I think it's the thumb here, but we can probably leave this out. Unless you want to paint a thumb. Here I like to mark where about the green area is and a few stripes. And here a little bit the shadow underneath the eye. And I can draw down. I can't draw. Yeah, you can. Just draw finger by finger. Like, I promise you can. Or you can use, okay, that's a little bit difficult with watercolor paper. I zoom in. look, you can do it all. I promise. It's like every bone is a straight line, okay? So if you draw a hand, draw this and this. And then change the angle and then this and this. And put a little knob at the end. This would be a finger. Like, you don't have to draw a hand. Think of it as little sections. Like, break it down for you so it's easier. Does that help? Painting tutorial, the first 30 minutes is just sketching. Oh, but we will do this. We will do this. I leave out this one so I can align it later with the leg. But first, the butt. Because it's hanging over here. Okay? It's simple, right? And here we have a leg that's sticking out a little bit further, not that far. And then going up here. And then I can align like one of the toes. I had to think about it. Here. It's funny that you can see more of them. This second leg, second leg, you start a little bit with this little distance from the butt. Also, give it a little bit V here. Frogs are super weird. Like, you can see on a frog's belly, you can see like this is leg muscles, and you can see it like very clearly. That, and we will shade this differently, and just so you can see make a mark for yourself. Remember, this foot is not as far outside as the other one. Actually, I can go up to here. Like this. And then mark it because it's bent. Like, mark the center a little bit. For me, the sketch would be done now. I have here the nose. I have rings under the eye. It's maybe very tired, I don't know. I'm not that close with the frog. I can mark some of the shadows here. Only the down hand. This one, can you show me how you draw the down hand? And you can, yeah, okay. Wait, I will do it on a different sketchbook so I can show you again. Is that okay for you? So, if this is the branch, yeah? And you imagine here is like the belly of the frog. Around here, and here it goes like to its head. You have about this line here. Yeah, okay. So, with a little bit of distance, you do first this. This will be the first finger. Okay? And starting with this, because it's overlapping this branch, you make it like a line, and then you give it a blob. Okay. Then we do the second one. And it's a different angle a little bit. And you can do it like this. And then you give it a blob too. I think it's important to break it down. I know as a whole it looks confusing, but if you break it down into like small sections, I think it must be probably doable for everyone. And I know frog isn't easy, but I thought it would be cool to paint it together. Now we have a little bit of a toe here, so you make only a little blob for it here, like this one. Okay, and from this one, it's like this, the third finger. You go up a little bit, and then you go here. Like it has a little bit of a curve, okay? And then you give it a little blob too. Because it's a super confusing area. It's toes, it's fingers, it's hand, it's a little bit of the foot. I totally get that this is a confusing area to draw. But if you break it down, I think we will get through it. I think everyone will get through it. Okay? So next is you give it a little blob here. Okay? Here. Because it's the other toe that's sticking out here. Dante came over to show, look, he has his harness on. He wants to go outside on a walk and is all dressed up now. Just wanted to show you Dante with the harness on. Okay, but back to the drawing. We can see Angel. Here, a little bit of the leg. I think it's like the knee or something. So we can see it. So we make just a bow here. They're very good, but the heat is even too much for them at the moment. Yeah, oh my god, the heat. We've had like a cool week now, and I feel like we are recharged now. So Angel, then we have this little section here. It's a part of the hand, so you basically look like, if it's the human hand, it would look like, like here, the area between fingers. So if you want, you can put down here a line, but actually this one is enough. So I hope you're done here, Angel, with this one. And then you go from here in a nice little curve to the body where it connects. They're telling us it's cooling down, but instead it's been 1 or 2 degrees. It's been 1 or 2 degrees. Aww. Yeah, no, for us it's cooled down to like 18, 24. So it's been comfortable this last week. Okay. But to go back to the drawing, I know this can be super confusing. As you can see, it looks the same. But to break it down into like little areas will help you draw. I'm sorry if it doesn't show as well like on the side on the blog, but it's the same as here. And you cannot see my mouse, but it kind of shows, you know. So I hope this helped. So I hope this is okay. But yeah, catching up with the sketch. We're just done with the sketch. Sorry. Also, heads up, there's going to be an ad break in 13 minutes, which will be extra time for sketching. So we have the ear. I kind of want to make it bigger, even because it's a cool area. We have the ear, we have the butt. I have some hints. I like to give it like this little area here because it's the shoulder. I'm not sure how it's doing this, but thanks, Lana. You're welcome. Everyone who has issues at some area, let me know. Sorry, this sketch is very hard for me. Oh, don't be sorry. I knew, I am so aware that this is a tricky sketch to do. Like, but I felt like it would be tricky but manageable, and maybe you would be then not excited, but braver enough to go with more difficult things, because doing difficult things isn't bad, you know? And I thought we would just do it all together. It's okay. But the sketch is done now. So for me, the sketch is done. I like to hint at the shoulder a little bit. Maybe the folds that are here, that are very prominent. I can give it a little bit more cheek here. I feel this so hard. I would not attempt it even. So you have the atomic kitten. What? Try it. Oh my god. That's your chance. Like, I'm literally sitting here and my evening will be explaining, drawing, painting everything to you. Oh. Be brave. Be brave, people. Be brave. Do things. Paint with me. So after you're done, I assume. Or does anyone have questions so far for the sketch? Because now you can see it. It will not be gone in a minute, but it will be lighter. So when you're done with the sketch, do the brave thing and use your kneaded eraser. And dab away a little bit of it. I will not dab too much of it so you can actually see what I'm doing. Imagine how mean this would be. Like, dab away the graphite and then the sketch is gone for you because the camera can't pick it up anymore. And now we'll paint. Yeah, I have a question, Professor. Is this frog on the rhubarb stalk? I thought so too because of this nice red, but I don't know. It's not my frog. I am not related to this frog. I know nothing about this frog. I have the feeling his name might be Bob, but that's all I know. I thought, well, and we will match the rhubarb color. Like, this is the painting. I feel like I matched it well. Like side quest. Matching colors to rhubarb. For today. I like the color of the frog. It's very natural. So if you're not done with the sketch, feel free to look up on the blog. You have the line art there and the reference photo, which I will hide now so you can actually see my palette. I will mess up my paper, but also zoom out a tiny bit so you can see maybe like this. So you can see part of my palette and how I mix colors, okay? Which colors we need? First, we need yellow ochre, okay? Put a little bit of yellow ochre on your palette, or a little bit more, because we will need a bit of this color. Yellow ochre is this one. It's kind of a muted brownish yellow color. Okay? And in this color, we mix a little bit of phthalo blue. Here it's called, sometimes it's called cyan, sometimes it's something else. But we need a little bit of it, like really not much. Until it's like a light muted green. I literally pick it up just with the tip of my brush, like this. and there's not much on it here. If you went too dark, you can always add a little bit more yellow ochre. So for me, the color is now this. Give me a second. Oh, this is like a weird page. So my color looks like this now. Like a muted green. Maybe one day. I'm not particularly interested in drawing. It's never spoken to me. Oh, you can paint. Go right into painting. And with this green, you can apply it like at the top of the frog. Drag it out a little bit. I occasionally wash out my brush so I can use some water and soften out the edge. Okay? If you dab your brush on a piece of paper after washing out, you get a nice, very clean edge even. And it can go up to the upper lip. Like this. No, I just loved watching the color mixing part. Oh, that's a hobby for itself. Color mixing is such a great hobby and part of painting. I can totally see this as being like super I don't know the word, like not exciting, but you know, satisfying, enjoyable maybe. And I do this on the back too. Like I apply paint and then I drag it out and soften it to where I want to go. When I'm at the ear, and I hope you all pay a little bit attention, because we shape the ear from step 1. When you're at the ear, look at this. I zoomed in. When you're at the ear, you go and do a little see inside, and then you put some outside, but you leave the white. I will need to erase my drawings tiny bit. You can soften the color outside of the ear and inside of the ear, but don't touch. They can touch here. They can touch here, but leave the white. If you lose the white, it's not a big issue. We can fix this with some white later on. But to shape the ear, that's how you do it. I will paint, add a little bit of green here. I will float down into the pre-wetted area. And to the belly, to the side of the belly, I'm softening out all the edges. I want it all to be soft. Here, the water flowed, went back to the mouth, so I'm not scrubbing, but I'm lifting some of it using a clean, damp brush. Maybe I can even do a little bit of paper towel to pick up a little bit more of it, soften it out. So we have kind of the white lip. The frog gets its power through the crescent moon. Yes. It hears better. It's the moon power of listening. Oh, when I said moon power, I thought of like Sailor Moon and stuff suddenly. And then you can apply some of the paint also here for the other eye. Don't touch the area that will be black. Wait, I will zoom out a little bit again. Because I hope you understand what I meant with the ear. I hope it's the ear. I think it should be the ear, right? I'm not huge on frog anatomy. I need to postpone the ads for more 5 minutes. So at least we get the green done. I want to have ads while I explain things. For the arm, I applied like on the top too, this green color, and soften it out a little bit. You know, so we have kind of from a dark-ish green, a blend to a light-ish green. And with the very light color, it's very watered down on my brush. I also go over the fingers a little bit. And do a little swipe on the blobs. Because on the top, it's a little bit greenish, but on the bottom, the blobs are a little bit pinkish. Yep, it's the ear. Thank you. I thought so, because birds have also ear holes under the feathers. Super fascinating. I pick up a little bit more green and I go under the arm. And because we don't have like a super wet area there, I can have really nice border here. And I too soften it out towards the belly. I don't know how it's for others, but when I paint, I apply many techniques to achieve a realistic look. For different things. And softening edges is one of the main ones. And I felt like this is such a good practice for this. Like, we're actually practicing techniques while also painting a cool thing, right? It's not a thing, it's a frog. Wait. Oh my god. Twitch just scared me and said like, oh, we're showing ads, but I think the ads are starting in 5 minutes. Well, we will be done by then. I hope. If not, we will continue after the ads. But during the ads, there will be no explanation, nothing. On the leg, I do one line and again, just softening it out. To soften out, clean out the brush, dab it onto a clean piece of paper, and then go over this area where the paint meets the dry paper. And that way you get the soft blend like here. Okay? Finally, the butt area doesn't need any green. You can add it to the sides a little bit, but actually the butt is not very green. The arm has a little bit of green here. And again, I apply paint and then I blend it out. We will blend another color from this side to the green in the next step. Put some on the knee or whatever is sticking out here. I think it should be the knee. Ooh. See, this is a little bit too wet. Like if paint beats up like this, the blend will not be nice. So you need to suck up some of the water. If your paper is too wet, it works nice on big areas, but on small areas, it can be it can move the paint too much, so you don't get the nice blends. Yes. The frog has a butt. Like, I mean, this is the butt, right? It's not a fluffy butt like birds, but it is what it is. I zoom out again a little bit. While the areas next to it are a little bit wet, you can wait, but you can also be brave. And I put a little bit of green in very light consistency on this finger, and like this, a little bit like this, and also like here. I feel like it's mostly water now, my brush, so I picked up a little bit more paint. And then I pick up a little bit more green and I do a little line, just tiny bit, because like on the belly side, frogs aren't green, they're white or pinkish or whatever. This one has actually a very cool color, which I really like. It's why it was catching my eye. It was so tricky to match, but I have a good mix for that. And I'm softening it out again. I did PBR 25 Naples yellow with PP 16. It comes out in real pleasant milky green. Perfect. It's very similar. I just like to go with the Schmincke Akademie set with 12 colors because I think like the selection is so basic. Everyone has it probably. And it can be substituted with every set. And if it's with student grade paints, I think it's very easy to match like the quality and intensity than if I used like exotic professional pigments, which I use in my own art. I like them. I have a big love for pigments and paints, but to make like beginner friendly or followable tutorials with them, I feel like either I have to put together a palette to suggest, or it will be so tricky for others to follow along. If you can substitute colors, do it. It's a great way to learn. Also, don't forget this one toe, because I usually do and have to fix it later on, but be smarter than I am. Okay? So this is how the frog looks right now. It has no green on the belly side. We only covered like the top side and the green areas so far. I hope everyone's done with the green. It's actually almost dry. Well, the hot weather is actually a benefit because it dries, watercolors dry so fast that we get to glaze and paint area to area without much bleeding very fast. I also want to erase some of the pencil I have here in the ear. Once you apply watercolors on top of pencil, you cannot erase anymore. So I want to do this now. I kept my lines a little bit darker than usual, so it's visible in the camera. I will switch to a slightly smaller brush because there's no reason to go super big. I'm at a size 6 now, but also my painting is kind of big. If you paint smaller, adjust the size of your brush to your painting size. And for the belly color, We will mix English red. If you don't have English red, use burnt sienna. English red is a little bit more reddish. It really is. Also lurking, want to say hi. Aw. I hope you enjoy the stream still. And maybe you have dinner too. Have a nice dinner. Have a nice time. Thanks for visiting, because I've really enjoyed to say hello, Pani, in Polish. Frogs are so precious. They are. So I put English red on my palette. It really is. What really is? I think I missed something I said. Or someone else said. I don't know. Well, we use English red and we mix it with a little bit. Not too much, because it will turn purplish gray if you use too much. Ultramarine. And again, I pick it up just with the tip of the brush and remove the hairs I have. Twitch is full of nice people. Oh, so true. Some platforms are more toxic, but Twitch is actually full of nice people. And a few weird bots. But mostly nice people. And I mix it until I have kind of a reddish purple. Maybe it reads brown to some people, I don't know. I will swatch it out here. Kind of type of caput mortuum kind of color. Okay? So this color. And I need to water it down, so it's not that strong. Because if it's too strong, the belly of your frog will be brown. We don't want a brown belly. We want a purplish belly. Dante came back. Dante came back. Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah, it's. I mean, mixing colors is always kind of. Now you get the Dante butt. Mixing colors is always tricky, and you can always make them lighter by adding water. Okay? So my mix is pretty light now because I'm a little bit afraid to go too dark too soon. So you rather should apply very light color. And I start at the mouth here, and you can see how light this is, right? And again, I blend it out to white to have the soft edge. This is the main technique we practice here. I have planned out a few tutorials for this year. I think up until about Christmas. So, and thought about, okay, what can I like paint to practice a certain technique? And I came up with a few. If there's something like a technique you encountered and you want to practice, let me know so I can make a tutorial for it. Because I feel like during painting, like actual painting, it's easier to learn than, I don't know, softening out random swatches, for example. You know? So Dante just had dinner, and he likes to join me when I paint. He doesn't like it when I talk too much. I think he rather listens to other people, because when I have videos on or something, he's totally fine with it. But we can give him a little treat, okay? I have chews prepared. He's looking. I have some chews for him, so he can have a chew. Los. 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 I don't think he likes the chews anymore. Na los. Guter Hund. Alles gut. If he doesn't I have some of the other treats too. But it's so odd because he loved to choose. And just like a few days ago, he stopped enjoying them as much. So I'm not sure why. So we will see. Okay. Dante has a treat and we're painting the frog. Perfect life. Because everything's drying so quickly, I can darken it up a little bit until I have my desired darkness. When I painted this frog first, it was a little bit tricky to find out like the perfect shade for his belly color, because I felt like nothing fit it so nicely, like the way I wanted it, like to be like a slightly muted kind of color, but I feel like this shade is so perfect for it. For the butt, I just cover it in this color. The butt is also kind of more in shade, so I can use a slightly darker application than I use on the belly. So we go here. And then we smooth it out. Now we have a pink butt. Perfect. I like to apply a little bit of the color here on the arm. Just around here. And also soften it out. I apply a little bit on this leg, but I don't like to fully touch the area of the butt. It's also a little bit lighter, just because there's like the slight separation still between the two areas. And I soften it out here too. Also, I want to encourage you to go slowly and really think about every brush stroke, where you place the color. I'm not hurrying anyone. I hope you feel that we're really going slowly and carefully, enjoying the paint moment. Apply a little bit here. And we go section by section. It's, by the way, also what I do when I paint for myself. But because I don't narrate it usually, maybe it's not as apparent. But just go slowly. Think about what you're doing. Take a moment to take a moment to look at your painting. Like I see here that a harsh. This is actually a good example. During the drawing process, I see here in this area that there's a harsh line forming. Can you see this? So, and I don't want that. I don't want the harsh line here. So I go over it with the damp brush just to soften it up. And I will use, some paper towel to dab it away. So we still have the softness here. So we keep the soft edge. And if you go fast, you might not see it as clearly, which is okay. And sometimes you want the harsh edges, right? Sometimes it's part of your painting, but it's not the case every time, so just go slowly. Painting should be more of a meditation than a speed run. So this is the belly area. Also, I forgot something from last step. And I'm very sorry for it. Use a little bit of yellow ochre, like pure yellow ochre. Water it down slightly and fill out, is it the iris? Like the eye area, but leave some white here. If you feel insecure, use a smaller brush. It will be fine. The chat is a little bit calm today because people are painting along. But you're welcome to chat and share your things, ask questions. We're super nice. I love the puppy cam. Yeah, thank you. Also, I need some feedback. Was my microphone okay? Because when I've had puppy cam before, it was cutting out sometimes. And I want it to be good. The puppy is called Dante. He had a chew, he had a treat, he had a walkie, and he also had dinner. And I think now he's going to nap. He had a vet appointment this week and met a new vet and got vaccines. So I think he was like, oh my God, I'm meeting this new person. Have to go on a table and then I get needles. I don't think he liked it much there, but he's okay. He's a grandpa already. Like, not grandpa as he had puppies, but grandpa as he's an oldish pup, but he's very kind and nice, and I love him so much. I know the bed is way too small. I got it on accident and he won't take it away. Every time I try to lift this bed, he will go to sit on it, so I cannot remove it. He got one that is like double the size, but he still likes this one too. So I put it in the office and you get to watch him nap. Because, you know, after all the chews and the good time, he needs to have some naps. Yeah, but fill in the eye. And then we will go back, I'm sorry, to the red, purple, brown mix, whatever it is. And use a smaller brush because this is so important. And this is something I sometimes forget myself. Paint in the underside of the toes and fingers. Especially the single one up here that we always forget. Not like we painted this before, but I always forget it. And the 3 times I painted this frog, had to go back for it. So now I'm thinking of it first. But also like the fingers here a little bit. And just the underside. Wait, I will zoom in so you can see clearly what I'm doing. Like here I'm going just the underside. This top part is a little bit greenish. And with a small brush, if it's dry enough, you can soften it really nicely, really simply. You know? Go careful, go slowly. We have time. Also, the first layer is always, no, it's not true. The sketch always takes the longest part, longest time, but then it goes fast. Maybe also because I enjoy painting much more. But with a good sketch, it's easier to paint actually. So it's okay that we took so much time here. Can you see it? Are you okay? I do it also here on this ones, just like this area, the area underneath. And soften it out. So what did you do on your stream, Goddess Whispers? You're welcome to share. Tell us about you and your streams and what you do. We like to get to know new people. Did you do art? Did you play? Did you sing? Oh my god, are there people? Oh, you did crochet today. And crochet a purse with beads. Oh my god. Like, is it the kind where it was like bead to bead? Like a little mosaic that's crocheted? Because that is super fascinating me, with teeny tiny hook. That's so fascinating, such a huge skill. Oh my god. That's so good. I'm easy to impress. And I like it. I have my crochet stuff in a few shops around where I live, so I need to make some new stuff. Oh, that's so cool. That's so awesome. Yeah, oh my god. Every time, so I like to go to museums, and some of the museums also sell handmade stuff around here. Every time I go, I also buy things that are handmade, like fancy soaps or something. Or, okay, one time it was like felted hats. I did not get any, but fascinating. But I also get like zipper pouches, or I don't know. I just think like handmade things are worth so much. Never seen beaded ones around here. But it's super cool. Hope they sell well. No, not that I'm present with the beading. Just some beads dangling from the bottom of the purse. Crocheted right on. Ah, okay. Because I know there are different ways to crochet with beads. I have also it was knitted a shawl, and the pattern had like big beads that were looped through the like knitting loops. I chose black beads for a dark gray shawl, so they're not visible nicely, especially because the beads are black, so maybe it wasn't the perfect choice. But I really liked adding them. But your purses, they sound so nice. If you have an online shop too, you can link it, right? By the way. In case you have one. So we can see. So I'm adding a little bit here to the arm too. It's still the same mix of English red or burnt sienna, whatever you have, and ultramarine. I'm almost done with the kitty socks. Yesterday I got to the toe of the second sock, so I'm really close to being done, and then send them to my friend. I suspect everyone's done. We will go on. If not, let me know. I will mix a little bit, really tiny bit of ultramarine to our frog green, the mix we have here. If you don't have it anymore, use some yellow ochre and ultramarine. Just a teeny tiny bit. So it's a little bit darker. Let me give you a swatch. It's like a little bit bluish now. It's still muted. We don't need much of it. We don't need a lot of it. But apply it just tiny bit, not too much, be careful here. At the top, and then blend it out. You see, just a teeny tiny bit. Like on the top of the eye. And then blend it out. We will work a lot with blending today. Everyone will be a pro at blending watercolors after the stream, if you paint along. A little bit. Wash out the brush. Dab it off on paper. And then go over the area where the paint meets the paper. Bye, Dante. He's leaving. I think he's leaving for a proper nap in the bedroom. If you want, I can call him back, give him more treats. Add a little bit around the eye. And also blend it out. We are now shading the frog. And we are not only shading the frog, we also give him dimension through these colors. It's a great technique. It's a great way to do it, very soft, and that way you don't need like outlines and stuff. I want to see this. I've been talking about Gansatambi a lot lately on different platforms for different reasons. I want to darken up this eye a little bit, like here, and then soften it out. And I will do a little bit on the back of the frog. And then drag it out a little bit to soften it. Dante, yum yum. Yeah, he totally understands that. I can tell him this is not the time for yum yum. Yum yum later. I will give a little line here. It's like a bag under the eye of the frog, and soften it out completely towards both sides, like away from the eye and towards the eye. So sentences Dante also understand is we're going to sleep now, or it's time for bed, and the sentence for it's time for bed is now is good night, literally. Because at some point he learned to understand what good night means and thought like, good night, everyone's going to bed, so we're sleeping now. What else? Oh, he also understands something like not this bed, but a different one. So I can tell him, do not eat on this bed, but come with me, eat here. He understands that too. Posted to deals and invitations. Perfect. So I'm slowly shading this. The look is kind of subtle, so I hope people who paint along pay attention a little bit, because I'm slowly shading the frog and give him dimension. And I soften out all these little areas, like here, with this mix of yellow ochre and ultramarine. I add a little bit, like a line, towards the nostril. And again, soften it out. Everything is very subtle, you know? It's not super visible. Especially, I noticed this when I scanned it in between the steps for the step-by-step tutorial. It's not super visible, but it gives so much detail later on. Like those steps are going very quickly. Here again, I have the harsh line that I want to remove. So I go over it to soften out the edge. Like this. But it's so important, like those little steps, because they literally shape the frog. Like if you do these, it's your base. That looks amazing. Thank you. And we're not done yet. We will go, like we will paint this. And everyone will reach this step. Everyone, I promise. The trick is just to go slowly. I add a little bit more of shadow here in between, just for the optical separation between the eye, like this part. And it's all very subtle, very slow. The layers grow slowly. And that's fine. We are not in a rush. We have already created the shadows here for the eye, right? I will add a little bit more. Just slowly adding, so we all get to the good result. And I feel like when you paint realistic, especially something like frogs where they're kind of smooth, you know, it's good to know how to soften out edges. If you paint something like feathers, it's okay to have like harsh edges sometimes, because the feathers separate harshly too. You can use a smaller brush for this, or a brush with a good tip, but nostril. No, not in the slightest. Okay. I try to go slowly and cozy so everyone gets along. Peaceful Lana stream. Awesome. Yeah, I think, like, I don't know. I want everyone to succeed. I really want that. So, nostril. Please pay attention. This is kind of tricky. We will shape the nostril. We will shape the nostril similar to how we shaped the ear. So we do like a little C here. And then we will blend it out in the middle. It's tiny. That's it. Like for now. Okay? We can do a little bit like outside of it, but these areas cannot touch. Okay? And this will shape the nostril. We will go back. We will enhance this. This is the beginning. And now please pay attention to the ear. The ears, like I feel like the ear is the trickiest part, but it will look so good. I promise. And for the ear, on the inner side, you paint along this white line, but not completely. And then you clean your brush, wipe it on a paper towel, and smooth it out like this. I have to smooth. If you need, clean out the brush to smooth it out further. Can you see how it instantly becomes more 3D? Can you see this? Like instantly. And to enhance this look, I use a smaller brush now because I want to go a tiny bit more detailed. We go around here, but now we leave some of the harsh line. Like this. I will smooth it out just at the end here. Okay. Can you see how much more 3D it looks now? And just to enhance this, because, you know, we will go underneath lightly and smooth this out properly. Can you see how much more 3D this ear looks now? I'm very happy with the ear, by the way. In case you couldn't tell before. I use a little bit, a lighter color of the screen, just to draw along like the mouth. But more, like not on the upper lip, but on the lower lip area. And smooth it out slowly. And here we have the case where we have a harsh edge towards the upper lip. So it's kind of separating nicely, but a smooth out area towards the lower lip. So it blends like a shadow. And that's why it looks like good separation between both. Like a harsh line is always, harsh edge is always more of separation, while a soft edge is kind of shaping more. Like here we shape the eye, right? I use a little bit of it to draw a line here in this area to shape the eye a little bit more, blending it out slowly because that's what we do. And honestly, my goal is to take as much time as it needs to finish this with you. This is also not the super beginner tutorial, but I feel like if you break it down, or if I break it down enough, it's totally beginner friendly, so everyone can get along with me, you know? We don't have to be stuck with the simplest things. Sometimes we have to do the hard things to learn. And I use a little bit more of the same color to put it down here under the arm and drag it out. Even a little bit more, because this is a shady area. It's a little bit darker. I again leave the hard edge towards the arm itself. So you can see it shows like a nice separation towards the arm, but the soft edge is where you see that it's shaping the body more. I use a harsh line over here to separate the arm a little bit, but I drag it out towards the body, not the arm. So I soften it out towards the body, so the harsh line is towards the arm for more separation. We will use the same color, this yellow ochre ultramarine mix, to also shadow the leg a little bit. I put it down here, basically towards the branch or whatever it is, and then blend it out towards the bottom. And I will put it down slightly, a little bit, here on the arm. Need to go to do something, but we'll be back in 10, catch up. Yeah, there will be an ad break in 3 minutes, so you will not miss much. Less than with the fox hunt you had earlier, probably. So, and also all steps are on the blog, so if you miss something, you can always go back and check the blog where you are. A little tricky area I want to show you. are the fingers. I know fingers are tricky anyway. So you use some of the color. First of all, we're going to shape the hands a little bit too. So I put some of the color here. And we'll smooth it out again. I had too much on the brush. Sorry. Just a little bit on the arm, like a teeny tiny bit. Just for a cohesive look. And on the fingers, do a dotty line. Like around here. It's kind of separating. It's if in comparison to humans, it would be around here, but it's separating this pinkish, this part to the upper part. Just a little line. I place it on all the toes first, and then I can go with a damp brush and soften it out slightly. Okay, and on the other hand, I will do the same in the exact same area. So it will be separating the top of the fingers and the bottom of the fingers. You know, just tiny detail. And then I will also soften it out. To separate the fingers, I put it a little bit on the knuckles. Is it called that? And drag it out. Soften it towards the finger. I think it's important for Angel, if you're still watching and painting with me, because you're worried about the fingers and stuff. So now you can look how we shape them so they actually look like fingers in the end. You know? Just a little bit. Go slowly. Be relaxed. Paint. Here we also do this like on the top and then like slightly on the side, like just a teeny tiny bit. And go here and soften it out. See, and the fingers have more shape now. This last toe, you go over here and a little bit like here, so you get your toe a tiny bit here, and you can soften it out. With a small brush it's easier to soften out small areas. I want to add a little bit darker areas here as the toe separation. I don't know if it's toe separation is the right word, but that's how we call it for now. So as long as this dries, we will go and finally paint this thing, the branch thingy. Oh, and this will be fun. I will zoom out a little bit because we can go back to a bigger brush. I have done to fluff everywhere. And you can see with the shading, the frog looks a little bit more 3D now, right? Like we're already going into shaping him into 3D form, so to say. So I will use the big brush again. Oh, God. I have fluff from petting him on my palette too. Okay. So I will use yellow ochre again. I kind of mix it on my palette, only with water first. So I have a nice consistency to paint with. Because directly from the pan it can be a little bit thick sometimes. I like to water it down. I can rotate the palette so you can see what I'm doing. So, you know, pick up some water, pick up some more paint if you need it. Just so you have a nice consistency to use with. And then cover the whole thing first. Don't worry about anything. The other layers should be dry by now because I don't know how it is for you. Here it's pretty warm. We had 28 degrees today. It's kind of high humidity, but it's not high enough that it will not dry at all. It dries pretty quickly. Be very careful around the toes and fingers. If you're not sure, use a brush with a small tip or a smaller brush to paint around them. Take your time, go slowly. As you can see, I do it too. Don't go over the legs and fingers, toes. Just carefully around them. Yellow ochre is a nice color. You know, traditionally, like in medieval paintings, it was used to show gold. So in churches, when they could not afford to use actual gold for some paintings, they would use yellow ochre. Or like wall art. Ooh, what if we painted a frog full in yellow ochre? Would it be like the golden frog? But it's a beautiful color. Really like it. When I was a kid, I didn't understand yellow ochre. I really struggled with it because it was light, but also like not so bright. And I didn't understand color mixing fully back then. I was like when I was really young, like, I don't know, 9 years or so. I didn't like it because it was such an odd color. And if I wanted to go darker, because back then I did not understand adding colors like blue or something to make it darker, or purple, it was like really weird and I didn't like it, but I really grew to love it when I became older, started painting more. Again, be careful around the toes and fingers. I promise you, this thing will become better once we're done. We just need this base layer. I'll mix a little bit more here. So. As you can see, I'm going slowly too. You can leave harsh edges on the bottom and the top. Like, I'm not really worried about them. You can make them prettier if you like. More expressive. By adding some, I don't know, dry brush, which we learned during the bunny tutorial, as you remember. Then it looks like it's fading out of the painting. Here I missed a little bit. No? Oh God. Thanks for the follow, Kriafiart. Kriafiart. So, you know, it looks a little bit more expressive. I'm blending out this one. If you want to use dry brush, you can do that. Right here, I didn't do anything. It's okay. You can choose however you want the look, the frog and the branch and everything to look. It's all yours. Like, then to go on, mix a little bit more yellow ochre because we need a whole bunch of it. We will still work on this branch. We don't need to wait for it to dry. I will add a little bit more here. It also doesn't have to be like super uniform because, you know, plants, they're a little bit patchy, they're a little bit odd. Sometimes it's fine. And to this yellow ochre, we mix magenta or quin pink, quin rose, whatever color you have that is a cool red on your palette. They're called differently in different brands. We mix that into it, like into the mix, until we have kind of a muted orange. But because we want it a little bit brighter, we want it to be a little bit more red, we also add a little bit of, here it's cadmium red hue, but whatever is the warm red on your palette. It can be something like cadmium red or called a little bit differently. I don't know. But you will get this kind of an orangey color, almost reminding a little bit of a wet English red. Actually, I will swatch it out here. So you get kind of this color, okay? It's a slightly muted orange. And then you apply it on top. If it's in the wet area, it will move. If it's on the dry area, it will not move. Everything is fine. You cannot make a mistake here. Harsh edges are okay. Soft edges are okay. It will be okay. I add, also be careful between the toes and fingers. So you match like a little bit the area where you applied it. Be careful. Use the tip of your brush for the more detailed, more finicky areas. That's fine. For example, my paint was kind of dry here in the middle area. It was flowing nicely here because it was still wet. I can dampen my brush and put a little bit of moisture here to let it run. That's fine. Leave a little bit of yellow ochre showing, like here in the middle area especially. So it has kind of this nice golden light highlight. I've been looking for this rhubarb pinky red color. Oh, we will make it even better. Like this rhubarb thing has 1, 2, 3, 4 layers at least. I put it also here. We get this orangey middle ground now. Because it's a beautiful color. I wanted to match it. I thought it was such a great contrast to the frog green that I wanted to keep like this rhubarb color. Sorry. And then I can add a little bit more dry brush to the end here. I add the darker color towards the edge here, by the way. You can add a little bit of dry brush on here too. It really is up to you which technique you choose here. Here we have kind of a softer flow. Here we have a little bit of a hard edge. Everything's fine. I apply also this orangey color on the bottom here. I make sure that the edge is nice and straight. Like that there's a nice harsh line. There's a clean edge towards the paper, but also the frog. Like this. Then I do a little bit of dry brush. It's fine. Also here. Okay. And we will make this area like this rhubarb color even better. We just need to put it down now. Wash out your brush. Isn't this nice and glowy and orange? Like, we're getting close. We're getting close. Also, the colors that are left, like, this is kind of where, for me, the start fun begins, because now we're getting into the fun area of soon we're adding the details. We're about half done. I would say we're about half done. So after we did this, I will zoom in. So because we will add a little bit more detail to the eye. Using English red only. Put a little bit on my palette so I can control the consistency a bit better. With English red, I surround the eye a little bit. We'll give the eye a little bit more depth too, you know? I'm surrounding the iris. My paper is very fast dry. That's fine. Don't worry. Do the dry brush. Do it like here, and you get the dry brush effect. That's fast. That's okay. For dry brush, you put your brush very flat to the paper and then drag it. My paper dries pretty fast too. And then drag it out a little bit. I will add a little bit more yellow ochre, pure yellow ochre too, to the area here, because I want to look at a little bit more golden. I want the eye to have a little bit more glow. Like this. Maybe a little bit more here. Can you see this? So we have an English red outer edge. Too much water on the brush, it's fine. And we have kind of a change between like the yellow golden. Here we have a lighter color, here we have a little bit more reddish. And in the finished eye, it will look more 3D. Like with these little steps, we just shape the frog, we shape everything to look more 3D in the end. Hope you all got along, because now we will mix in the shading color. So we will use ultramarine for the shading color. Oh, by the way, I forgot one tiny step. Sorry. Use a little bit of yellow ochre while you do the eye, and put just a smidge of yellow ochre in the eye, like in the pupil area. Not everywhere, just a tiny bit. You don't have to soften it out like I did. Just a little bit inside the pupil. And you can add a little bit of English red there too, but not too much. Not like I did. The yellow ochre must be visible. It will help to make the eye a little bit more lifelike, because the reflection in the eye isn't always just white. Usually it also slightly reflects colors, but more muted. So for birds, etc., I like to put in blue, like a light blue color that reflects in the eye, so it looks a little bit more lifelike and not just white. So for the frog, it's a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown. Back to the mix here. Put ultramarine. You can put a big amount on your palette. And burnt umber. And mix it to a nice, like chocolate brown, like very nice dark brown color. If you have something like sepia, that might work. But we will use like a chocolate brown for, we're there now. This is a good color. For shading of the frog and some of the details, I can swatch it here. Can use a little bit more brown. Yeah. So if you have sepia, it's around the same color. You can use that. It's not black. It's not black. It's a really dark chocolatey brown. This swatch looks like an elephant. So now it's a proper elephant swatch. Yeah. It's not black, it's a dark chocolatey brown. Okay. I will not use the big brush. I will use very pretty, thank you. I will use a small brush for shading. And I will zoom in so we can shade it together. I love this color. Yours is from Old Holland. Oh. Mine is a mix from ultramarine and burnt umber. Because I use just the basic set of Schmincke Akademie watercolors, I feel like if I do that, it's achievable for everyone, and they can have like a basic set and mix all the colors they need. Nice. So I want it to be like achievable and easy to recreate. So with just 12 colors, no one has to buy a lot. No one has to, I don't know, get extra colors just to follow a tutorial. But everyone can learn. So like that is something I chose for me. So all of my tutorials are painted with just a simple Schmincke Akademie palette. You can use Van Gogh, it doesn't matter. You can use any brand student grade watercolors you have. It's a basic selection of colors I will add just a teeny tiny bit of this color here, and we'll blend it out slightly. I only pick up, when I pick up color, I only go in with the tip of my brush. Like, I'm not picking up a lot. Just so you know. I go over this eye, like on the top here. Yeah, I mean, there's a difference when I paint for myself, because I can use my whole collection. But if I think, like, if someone's just starting out with the hobby, you know, drag this line out here until here. So if someone starts with a hobby and wants to follow a tutorial, I don't want them to buy like the whole line of a brand just to have every color to paint along. That's like, it's too expensive, you know? And if someone just wants to learn and to paint, not everyone wants to collect, especially not in the beginning. It's okay to just have one palette that is functional and have enough like tutorials, etc. to follow, you know, because you can mix anything. All of our collection is like fun, right? It's not like we collect colors because we need them all. We want them all, yes. It's like Pokemon. But, you know, I would never suggest to a beginner to get like a whole line of watercolors just to have every color, because you don't need to mix anything. Mixing is not magic. So we go slow, and everyone can follow along. Surround the eye, like the iris, with this dark color too. Leave a harsh line to the outside, but soften it slightly, not like a whole lot, but slightly towards the inside. You're a great teacher. I know. Veer? What is the veer way off track? These paint-alongs, but that's not because you aren't giving all the good details. Oh, that's fine. I mean, not everyone has to follow along. People want to know different things, right? Veer, to change directions. Oh, I didn't know this word. I'm learning. I'm teaching and learning simultaneously. That's the best way. I smooth out the line here. Okay. Kind of want to remove some of the darkness on the side. My frog is in a straw. Is in a straw and teeny tiny. Oh no. Oh yes. I hope you show us the teeny tiny frogs. I love teeny tiny frogs. I also use the same color to fill in the pupil. I think it's dry now. Make sure that the area around is dry, because otherwise it's not dry enough. You will not fill out the pupil. Do not do the same mistake. Because we don't want to dry. We want this line to be super sharp. It's okay. I started. It's okay. We will make it later. That is not a flaw. Just make sure that this iris, like this yellow ochre area, etc., is dry, because you don't want this line to run. We will do other shadings instead, because we need to go here. It's slightly washed out, the color, and we go over here, over the nose, to create the first lines too. I hold my brush kind of slightly tilted, so the lines are kind of softer. Dante was helping paint. Oh, with the stray floof. Oh. Yeah, he left now. I think he's in the bedroom. He understands it's bedtime. He left me. But I have tea, I have you, and I have paint. It's good. So we're back at the nostril. He knows his priorities. Yeah, he has the best life. Like he just does whatever he wants. So we're at the nostril. We will shape the nostril again. We will do the half circle. We will do the half circle and then blend it out towards the center of this half circle. Okay. I'm painting mostly with the tip right now. I'm adding, by the way, it's our shadow and our stripe color. So I'm doing both shadows and stripes. So I'm adding a little bit of the stripy pattern towards the nose here. And I'm following the line of the mouth again, just to enhance it, and blend it out slightly towards the bottom again, like I did it with the green previously, doing with the gray, brown too. To the eye, because the brown has dried a little bit. I'm super careful around here. Try not to cover up the white. If you cover up the white, it's okay. We can add it later. I just prefer to be careful. Actually, in the sketch, it happened to me that I covered it up by accident, so you wouldn't be alone. And I put the outline here, where the green skin is. Gouache stabilizing. Yeah, oh my god, I use it so much. I don't know if others do it too. I use my pinky to stabilize my hand. I use it a lot because it's like springy, it's flexible. I can adjust it. I did it all the time. I don't do it when I write. Then I hold my hand like this. But when I have like this stabilization, I go this. Like it's my tripod for my hand. Let's put a little bit of shadow underneath the eye here. And soften it out. We soften out all the shadows. Looks a little bit like it has bags under his eyes. Maybe he didn't get enough sleep, this frog. I don't know. And we put a little bit of shadow here. And we soften it out. And we put a little bit of shadow here. And we soften it out towards the back. And can you see how the eye got shaped instantly. I put a little bit of shadow here, tiny bit, and then soften it out towards the eye on the back. So we have a separation here. Now we're at an area where you need to pay attention again, because I'm sorry, but the ear is, I felt, okay, so the thing is, when I started painting, I felt like the ear or shapes like this were most tricky, and that's why I feel like now I have to like tell you, okay, pay attention here. Because this is where it's becoming tricky. So first, paint a shadow like along this outer area of this white sea. Don't cover up the white sea. And it's only like a little bit on the top, and then blend it out to the outside. Okay. I will take away this because I don't want this. I want to remove this hair. Okay, like this. So have you seen this? Then we use a little bit more of this color, same color, and put it on the inner side, just on this top area, and then blend it out. Can you see how we slowly are shading this ear? I hope you can see it. I will soften out the edge slowly here to make it appear a little bit more narrow, and here too. Isn't this good? Isn't this pretty? Sorry, but I enjoy this ear, to paint this ear so much. I hope you do too. And then you can put some dots. It's not really a line. It's dots along this area here. And they go up to almost a circle here. And with a watered down color, we can add a line around here, which is one of the stripes of the frog. With a bit of a watered down color, we can also connect this area a little bit to this stripe of the frog. Huh? Huh? I love this. This is for me the fun times. We can also connect an area, and I do it in little tiny strokes to this area here. Do not cover up the white of the ear, just so the stripe kind of connects. I shadow a little bit the back here, just a tiny bit, with a watered down color, and add with a little bit of a little bit more intense color. I add a stripe to the frog here. These stripes are not super dark, like we will enhance them in the next step, but we need to lay down some of the stripes. You can also, while you're at it, put some of the spots down, like on the back and in between the stripes here. Just very light. You don't have to blend them out because, you know, it's stripes. They have kind of harsh edges. We can put some of them here. And also some on the eye here. It's like just some areas. You can be a little bit creative with them. We will add the more intricate stripes and areas later on. Oh, this is a little bit too dark. If you want to dark, use your brush. Maybe dab away some of the paint. It's fine. This frog has also kind of darkish area around here, around the mouth. Just go slowly. Take your time. Don't hurry. I feel like that's what helps with realistic paintings. To go slowly. To pay attention to what we're doing. You know? And I feel like slowly this frog is really taking form. Right? Underneath the arm. Am I so slow? I'm sorry. I will shadow a little bit in the area here. Like the whole area just needs a little bit of shadow. But then pick up a little bit more paint. Because there's the shadow underneath the arm. And then go over this area, just like that, to create the shadow for the arm. It's a little bit darker than the full area. And I'm softening out the edge a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just so we have a nice look here. Okay, so we added this shadow here. I smooth out this line because I want it to be nice and crisp. In the next step, we will add more stripes to the area here, but because it's wet, they will all bleed. So we will not do that. We will go to the arm and we will put, like, enhance the line here that is separating them. And we will blend it out towards the body, not towards the arm. And then have some of these folds here. And by doing this, you add the lines and then you soften them out. Like go just over the lines so the edges soften. That's how you get the folds. Look very realistic. Okay. I think I will leave the belly for after the break, because we will go and shade the arm or the hand a little bit. Put a tiny line of the color, of the shading color, like here, not touching the white. And then also go over it, smoothing it out with a clean brush. Put a tiny shadow on top too. The brush is a little bit dry, I'm sorry. I know softening out edges so much takes a lot of time, but I feel like the result is just so good. And I tell you, if you followed along, you will be such a pro once you're done with this. I will put a few of these folds in the armpit of the frog and soften them out too a little bit. Look at this. You will be such a pro with this technique. On the hand, I put the shadow on the, I don't know, finger that's in the back there. and then soften it out towards the finger. It's definitely one of the more useful but difficult skills a watercolorist learns. Yeah. But you know, if you learn it, like, look how easy you can shape something using this technique. We have been softening out almost every stroke in this painting. Almost. In my frog, the result looks a little too overworked. Yeah. Might be the paper, or you went, like, might be if your brushes are too stiff, it can happen too. Or if you were, like, went over it a few too many times, you know. If you notice, when I soften out the edges, I only go over it like 2-3 times tops. And I try to carefully not lift the colors underneath too much. I think it happened a little bit around here, but it's not that bad actually. So I'm just slowly working my way, finger to finger, area to area. On the tip of the fingers, I add a little bit of shading too, like on top. Like this. Oh, this was too much. See, I had too much water on my brush and I dab it away. It can happen. It's okay. Just carefully. By the way, this time I chose to use the Raphael precision brushes. I'm still testing them out, but I'm kind of happy with them. One day I will finish the review for them, but I still struggle with video editing and time. I need days in a week, more hours in a day. Here I shade like slowly. I actually will keep this line harsh, and I just put it like where these colors meet. And a little bit here, where... Talk to you later. Bye, Diatomic Kitten. Thanks for being here. I'm super late today, but it's fine. We'll all finish the frog. Detailed paintings take a longer, but I feel like the result is also better sometimes. I put a little bit of shading here on the hand, a little bit here between the fingers, and I shade it out towards the middle finger slightly, so we have a little bit more separation. Have a weird relationship with brushes. I haven't found this aesthetic that's perfect. I don't know. I feel like there's so little really perfect things in life. I'm okay with functional. You know, they have to work. I can adjust myself enough to be okay with them. And I feel like they work nicely. Because this has dried, I will add, like with the middle hue, the stripe here now on the back of the frog. And here's a stripe too, you know, just stripy frog. So I don't forget it later. And because there's a shadow already, you put it basically on top of the shadow and it will stay visible. Do not forget the single toe here. That was also out of the picture. And there's a little separation line between the green on top and this pinkish color. And we will shade it a little bit. It looks like a little worm right now. So we will soften out this, but not cover it completely. So this toe gets a little bit of shading. We will not forget the single toe there. And then it's out of the picture again. Heads up, 5 minutes until the ad break. We will not paint during the ad break, don't worry. But we will shadow this leg. I draw a line that's a little bit wider because there's a bigger shadow on this leg, and then drag it out. See? And I will even darken up the shadow here, because the shadows here are darker, like the light isn't hitting the butt and leg area as much. And I will drag it out towards here and soften out the shadow. Mine is looking very good in regards to values, but there's a lack of detail for sure. Oh, no worries, we will add detail. We're not there yet. Don't worry about detail just yet. I will draw a line, a single line of separation along here. And I will keep this. I will not soften it out. It's very, very thin line, but I like to keep it to separate it further from the white. I will soften out this line, however. That's a tactical line for visual separation, because then the leg just looks better. Sometimes we have to do this. This one I painted smaller too, and we will add more details. It's one of the next steps where we add like these dots and like texture to the eye and stuff. Don't worry, if you don't have detail yet, I don't have detail either. Like, I'm not there yet. You know what we can do though? We can have like the more darker mix of the same color before the ads start. And because the pupil has dried now, fill in the pupil. Use a small brush. The line towards the iris needs to be nice and crisp and smooth. The color is not black, maybe almost. Okay? Make the outline first, and then fill in the inside, but not completely. Where you have this yellow ochre, English red area, leave some specks, like a little bit, as a highlight, as a reflection. We will add white, a bit of white later on. But to make the eyes look a little bit more vivid, I like this to add color to the reflections, as I mentioned earlier. I want the pupil to be nice and big. Like this. Smooth line towards the the outside. The pupil is not jagged. It's not wonky. I dab a little bit of this mix inside. If there's a little bit of variation, it's fine. Right? Big peepers for peeping out flies, yeah. And I feel like when you add this, the frog in an instant looks more vivid, like this. And you have like, it looks better, right? So ads are starting in 55 seconds. In 55 seconds, we can do one thing. At the butt, use a mix of the same mix and just cover the butt. Like the whole, I use a bigger brush. Cover the butt area with the shadow color. Don't worry. Just a smooth wash, not outside the lines, but cover the whole butt with a shadow color so it can dry during the ad break. Okay? And in the middle, like make it a little bit darker towards the thing. If it flows, it's fine. And in the middle, like here, add just a teeny tiny bit more of it. Okay? Like a V. If you drag it out, drag it down, straight down. Can you see this? You can see how fast this dries here because of the line it created. So you can soften it out, but make sure the darkest area is here. We marked it as a V in our drawing. Okay. I will enhance the shadow on the butt because it has dried a little bit, like in this direction, where the paint is still slightly wet, so blending is simpler. Try not to have harsh edges. See? Such a nice shaded butt. I put a line here towards this branch and we'll drag it out a little bit more. 2. And to give him some weird leg muscles, we will do kind of draw a V because the paint is still slightly wet. It will run a little bit, but I feel like the V is then still visible. I soften it out towards lighter areas slightly because I don't want to have harsh lines here. That's not the area for harsh lines. They will draw attention, and that's not the area I want to draw attention to. Okay. We can go back to the single toe up here a little bit and shade it here. And soften out the lines. Softening out all the lines. This will be fun for me to listen to later when I edit this into a video. Because I'm repeating myself so much with soften out the lines again, soften these lines out too. What will we do? Softening out the lines. So let's go back to this leg. Actually, let's go back. No, I couldn't do that. What couldn't you do that? What's happening? So we will go back to this arm. And I put a pretty dark color towards, like, close to the belly. This arm has very dark shadows there. My fishing videos are a bit of a relief to edit because I'm that silent. Yeah, it was tricky to get used to it. I don't enjoy to listen to me talk because it's always more difficult to talk to you, like to listen to yourself. So I put down quite dark shadow and I will drag it out. I will soften it out. Okay. Like this. So we have a soft shadow here. Looks more 3D. Nice. So editing videos is kind of tricky, but I feel like after years, I don't mind it as much as before. We are shading the fingers now. This is kind of tricky. This is kind of a tricky area. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Speckles. I feel very flattered. So I'm doing this. I add shadows for in between the fingers, toes, whatever this is, and I put it on here. Can you teach me? Yeah, paint with us. I'm teaching everyone here. What media are you using? We're painting with watercolors. Join in, paint along. And I will draw a line just here. So we have kind of a very soft like distinction here between the toes. This is a very tricky area. I totally understand this, but we can do this. Everyone can do this. For this middle finger, we do this too. We do a little bit of shadow here. It's kind of, sorry, if your finger does this, so we have this shadow that we're painting from. Watercolor is one of the most difficult. It is? Oh well, you can learn, that's fine. Where are you from? Germany. I'm from Germany. So then we'll go over here and softening out all of the shadows very carefully. Slowly, go slowly. Don't rush, don't rush. So this finger here, you can outline slightly with about a middle tone. It's not a finger, it's actually a toe. And then shade it from there. I do charcoal pastel portraits. That's awesome. But watercolor is way too difficult for me. Well, you can try. If you do charcoal pastel, I mean, you probably have skill enough to adjust to a different medium, you know? If you have enough like basic art skills, I feel like adjusting to a different medium is not that tricky. Okay. Can you see how we shaded this little toe? Because the toesies need shading too. Do you have Facebook? No. Instagram? Not anymore. I have Mastodon and Blue Sky. WhatsApp? I don't have WhatsApp. My social media are linked down below, like in the info section. We will shade this toe here too. And with shading, they become more visible and have like the nice separation we need to actually see them. How can I contact you if ever? What do you need me to... what? What do you need me to contact for? Yeah. Thanks, Dan. I'm here, like... we're good. I hope, Angel, you can see this, that with the shading, we get the nice separation between all of the toes, so you can actually see what's what better. I feel like this step really makes it clear, like, where it is. YouTube. Oh, thank you. You're an amazing teacher, too. Thank you. So... oh, Dan, you don't have to link all of them. I mean, on lanagosart.com, everything is linked. And we put a little bit of shadow here underneath this toe. And I enhanced this area here. My frog is horrible. No, don't say that. It's a learning experience. But I wanted to show through shading, we can separate them nicely. And it's more clear now that it's not like all the same stuff, but we get like slightly, like it's different limbs, so to say. And we cannot forget this leg here, right? And we will do the same thing as we did with the butt. So we add shadow here, and then we will soften it out towards the rest. Okay, we are here now. So the legs are softened out. And I know the paint is still wet, but it's fine, I think. We will draw a line along this fold. We will spread a little bit, that's fine. I will add a little bit of dark color towards the top there. And I will again use just a thin line along here, just for the separation towards the white of the paper. And soften it out too. So we have kind of a clean border of where this frog legs end. Okay. We will go over to a pretty tough area now. I'm really sorry to say this, but you can do this, okay? You can do this. We use the same shading color still. I use it in a pretty light color, like in light wash. And it's tricky because we will shade the belly area and it has so many folds. So I drag it out here, lower lip, jaw, I don't know, and soften it out. Can you see this? So we get the soft shadow here. So we soften it out. We do the same here and drag it almost to the elbow and soften it out. Because what do we do today? We soften out things, right? Just carefully go. If it forms a harsh edge like here, soften it out. This is not like this. These shadows is not where we want the harsh edges, because as you can see, it will form like this nice folds and this very softly. And that's what we want, right? I add a little bit of a darker shadow just to the bottom here. It will flow a little bit, that's fine. That's fine, but we want the softness. We want the soft color. I cover an area here very lightly. It's fine. Like here. And I cover some of it here. There is a little bit of light in between them. That's what we want to keep that. But we soften out the edges here. Okay. Can you see what we did? It's very soft. Frog belly is so ripply. Yeah, that's why I kept it for last. I'm so sorry. But once you have the frog belly, you will be happy. Enhance a little bit the folds here. I put a little bit of the color there and let it flow. I put a little bit color down at the shoulder here. And then guess what I'm doing? I'm softening it out. I'm sorry, but the result will be so good. I want you to do the cool things and paint the cool frogs. I put a little bit of shadow here, like it's a little triangle, right? And I'm softening it out. Soften it out. Just do the soft shadows. Can you see this? I use a little bit of a stronger shadow color. And I want to enhance the shadow here of the arm. It's like the strip. We did it before. And I'm softening it out again. Slightly. Can you see that? Now pay attention to the frog. What does the frog want? Of course it wants to enhance us to enhance his mouth a tiny bit. Just a little line. I will soften out this one. I kind of want to enhance this shadow here slightly. So I'm putting down just a teeny tiny bit of color. Teeny tiny bit. And soften it out. Because that's what we do today. So who feels like a pro of softening out shadows now? I put a little bit of shadow here onto this fold. And I'm softening it out. If you soften it out towards both areas, it looks like a very, very like smooth fold. And the frog has kind of deeper shadow here, so I will deepen it a little bit. Everything is working in relation to everything else. So we're looking at the areas surrounding where we need to deepen shadows a little bit. That's so tricky. I know. I'm totally with you here. Deepen the shadow here a little bit. On the chest or whatever this is. And a tiny bit more on the shoulder. Because we need a smooth blend here too. Don't cover up the white though. The frog has some ripples here and folds and whatever, so I make smooth lines. and soften them out slightly. It's just a damp brush and I go over them for the smooth look. Looking at the reference photo, it's sort of weird that the frog has such big shadows on the right side of the stem versus the left side. Yeah, I think the light comes from here. Like from here, from the front. So that's why we get shadows here, but more shadows here. But like, look at it as a whole. Through the shadows, we got a pretty realistic 3D frog now, right? Like, if you look at as a whole picture, I know we were shading for an hour or so. That's what I do when I paint, as you know, too. Just now it's very closely narrated, but you get, like, this is how we shape things. We also will add a little bit more details to the eye now. Use a small brush. If you feel insecure, use a small brush. And use English red or burnt sienna, whatever you have on your palette still. Not like in a super bright consistency, about middle tone. And then it will take a little bit, but do dots, do squiggles in the eye, like a little bit of a pattern. Doesn't have to be super visible. I know this is a little bit much, but that's fine. It will be a two-step process. Looking amazing, thank you. Let me find the video, 1 minute. Yeah. And do squiggles. Do pattern. Do dots. Okay? We just need a little bit texture in the eye. Frog eye textures are actually kind of fun. It looks sometimes like squiggles and lines and irregularities, and sometimes it looks like dots. So we can do both and everything a little bit. Okay? It can be slightly darker or more towards the outside of the iris. And then we will leave this. So we did the squiggly lines, we added all the shadows, and now we will do something super cool. I have to zoom you out for it. We'll do something super cool because, you know, the rhubarb is a little bit too orange, right? Everyone of us knows that. So I will use a bigger brush again. And we need to shift the color of this rhubarb a little bit in some areas, not all of them. So we will glaze, and we will glaze it with straight magenta. I will mix some magenta on my palette so I have a little bit more control over the consistency of it. Okay? My magenta is slightly mixed with yellow ochre, but that's fine. It's really, really magenta. Okay, here. Here's my nice magenta color. It's not mixed with anything. Well, maybe a residue of yellow ochre. And with this magenta color, I will glaze some areas of this rhubarb. Oh, look. It's in an instant more rhubarby. In case that's color. I will not cover it all with it because I'm not that kind of person. I use some dry brush. I didn't use dry brush in the tutorial, but I know you all followed the bunny, so you know how to dry brush already. You smart people. You awesome people. Please take care around the fingers. Be careful not to paint over the fingers. I use some dry brush here. I'm not holding it flat enough, so it's totally my fault here. Again, for dry brush, you need to hold your brush really flat to the paper and paint only with the side of paper. And as you can see, it's the same consistency of color. But by the way you hold your brush, you will get different results. And also, if you hold your brush closer, like to the bristles on the ferrule, you have more control over it. While if you hold it farther away, you can paint a little bit looser, which I do like in areas here. But I go grip it automatically closer to the bristles when I need to go more into detail. Okay. Kind of want to enhance the magenta here a little bit. You can also follow your feeling a little bit, you know. We need this nice rhubarby color. And I do it a little bit also on the right side, but less. There will be a darker shadow on the side. I want it to have the same base. And also don't cover out up the yellow ochre in the middle, and leave also some of the orange we've had before visible, because these layers I feel like give it such a nice color, like in total, and texture. So I'm enjoying this a lot. Okay. I baked with rhubarb last week. Oh, nice! Since my dad owns a big patch of it, tries to unload it onto anyone who visits. Oh, rhubarb pie is the best. Rhubarb and apple is also a good combination. Rhubarb and strawberry tart. Oh my god, this sounds delicious. Rhubarb and apple is very common here. Very nice combo of sweet and slightly sour. Yeah, exactly. Super good. If you look at this, I feel like our frog is already pretty detailed, right? But we're not done yet. I know this is around the area where people start asking, are we done yet? We're not. And I'm saying this every time. I'm sorry, we're not done yet, because we will make it awesome. I will use burnt umber now and mix it on the palette, just to have nice consistency. And then use a small brush and burnt umber to do a dotty pattern on the eye, like to enhance what we just did with the burnt sienna. I need to do this, want to do this with burnt umber too. First of all, maybe it doesn't look necessary because it's not as visible, but even the subtle hue differences, I feel like they show in the finished piece. Lana, where did I download the picture in Discord room? There is a picture on Discord in the section here is called Hangouts and Hangouts and Streams or something, or Hangouts and Classes, where I posted this. Right. There's a section under art resources and classes, and there's a the forum is called Classes and Hangouts. And in Classes and Hangouts, you have all the tutorials where I post like the links and everything. And also the sketch and stuff. That I did in preparation. So we will do a dotty pattern, and it takes time, and I'm sorry that it takes time, but the dots always take time. They add so much though. Okay. Right? The dots bring the eye to life, right? Because that's what we need. I mean, my frog's eyes are too dark. Oh no, it's fine. Frogs have different eye colors too. You're okay. You're okay. I will use some of our mix of the dark brown mix and will enhance the dark areas here, but I will not cover it up completely. I will go over the borders mainly and leave like it doesn't show well on camera, but I leave this area, the first layer, and the borders will be enhanced. So the pupil looks like a pupil. It's like a black hole with reflections. This is how I paint eyes. The green is also beautiful. Thank you. Deep and moody. It's yellow ochre and phthalo blue on first layer, and then yellow ochre and ultramarine on the second. I will give him a little bit more of an eyeshadow here. Like underneath the eye. I love it. Thank you. This will make a cool sticker or postcard. I might consider it. You can even choose which one you like best, because surprise, we will have two options. We will have two of the same frog. But also everyone who's painting along has it, so you can have your own frog. And now we will enhance the look of the frog and add details. We have our mix of ultramarine and burnt umber, right? I sound sad, but I'm not sad. Have it a slightly watery mixture. Sorry. And then we will paint all the stripes and dots on the frog. That's fine. Be a little bit watery in some areas even. Like on the eye. Yeah, I need to kind of start making stickers and postcards of these things. Use your small brush. Don't hurry. Go slowly. These ones don't have to be blended out, right? These can stay with harsh lines, because this is what we do on purpose. We add these patterns on purpose now. You're almost done with blending. I enhance. Oh, this is a little bit too wet. My brush is too wet. That's okay. I will leave this like this. just wanted to give it a little bit of a C. And I will also go over the lines, the stripes we already put, and not cover them up completely, but kind of give them a little bit of a pattern. You can have it sometimes a little bit watered down, or like where you have the darker stripes, you can leave it a little bit darker. That's fine. It's totally fine. Just be careful, go slowly, take your time. There are stripes here on his nose, a little bit. You know, and then there are stripes, and I use a very watered down mixture for that because they're not very dark. But on the upper lip, he has kind of like the dots, which I want to add here. They go like along pretty far. Add some just water. Because we have to cover all of him in stripies. I know it's late already. I'm apparently very bad at estimating time, and I'm sorry for that. But we're now at the last steps. We're literally adding details now. You know, skin texture. I have to get ready for bed. Thanks for the stream. Good night. I know it's late. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. Thanks for joining in. I do darker dots on the lower lip, because that's kind of a cool area, I feel, for the frog. I hope it's a great week. Yeah, I hope so too. Hope it won't be as hot for you all. But honestly, the heat has kind of helped during the tutorial to let the layers dry pretty fast. So look, I feel like the dots on the lower lip give him so much more character already, right? So much more detail. And the eye too. I enhance the stripes here a little bit because they're not all like the same color. They have darker areas and lighter areas. And now we're painting basically the darker areas of the stripes. I put some darker dots here because it dries so quickly. I can go back quicker. And also here on the back, just little irregular stripies, small brush strokes, teeny tiny. Heads up, there's another ad break in 15 minutes. Today it's all going so fast. I don't know what's happening. But we will do the stripies, tiny dots, tiny stripes, tiny patterns. No, all in the same color. We don't even have like color variation right now. It might be somewhere lighter, somewhere darker, but it's no variation. We do some of the stripe that's continuing like in the ear. Don't cover up the white because it's such a good area. If you cover up the white, we can add it later on. It's just such a cool trick. I add a little bit more shading while I'm at it back here, which I soften out slightly. Also a little bit more of the stripey here. I want it to be almost not black, but I want it to be dark. This kind of very significant stripe, very characteristic for this frog. Need to mix up a little bit more of my shadow color. If you run out of it, just mix more of this chocolate brown. I have a huge drop of water on my brush. I enhance this stripe that is in the shadow area too. Add some dots around here. Add some stripes towards the back here. He also has like dots every now and then. Don't forget the dots. Some are darker, some are lighter. He has also some dots around here, like around the eye. You know, and these little textures make him look alive. I don't know if it's a he or a she, actually. Like, I'm not that huge of a frog expert. I also use some of the same color and draw stripes on the arms. I kind of want them to be a little bit lighter than that. And put dots around them, you know, because he's a dotty frog. I posted mine ages ago because my iPad started to run out of juice, but I didn't remember, so dot. Ah, yeah, dots, like, these little details make them come alive, right? Like, this is what makes them come alive. We'll also add a little shadow to the rhubarb or branch thing later on. The fingers have some dots, not as many. They have many like on the fingertips here. So you can add some dots here. And maybe some along the fingers, but they don't have many on the fingers itself. I will move it down a little bit. He has some on the shoulder, which I will give him like here. Also because these have dried. We'll put some on the arm too. It's literally me just tapping the tip of my brush on the paper. It's not planned. It's a little bit spontaneous. So don't be worried. Like, you can't do anything wrong here. We have some pattern that we will add on these too. And a little bit on the fingers here to make it all cohesive and nice. Don't worry, we're not far from being done. We're just doing the dotty stuff. Okay? Honestly, when you're this far, you did the most complicated things already, which was the shading. I tell you, when you're here with me, you did the most complicated thing. We also need to add pattern to the legs, so don't forget the dots on the legs. I will need to check out your frog. I might do this during the ad break. Oh, look, this dotty pattern looks like a flower. Aww. 2. Okay. We will do the dotty dots. Although the butt doesn't have a lot of pattern, it has some dots too, not many. So I just putting down some as a texture. Especially like in the outer regions, I don't know how even like on the like borders, put more dots. They're very light, but they give a little bit of texture. And this lower leg, we cannot forget this. It has, of course, patterns too. I will add a little bit more shadows here. And I will also enhance this crease here, where the leg folds. And add a little bit more dotties here. I feel like I'm done with the dots. I can add some lighter dots, very light, almost watered down here to the belly area, but I don't want to make them super dark, so they take away from the pattern itself. And I will put some of the lighter, very watered down dots around here, just to give him some skin texture. It's not really like pattern as on the other areas. We're just doing some skin texture thing, and it's the same dots. It's very, very light dots. Can you see this? Very subtle. I'll put some here too. They will be almost invisible in the finished painting, but give just this tiny bit. Somehow it makes the froggy look huge. Oh, sorry, I'm zoomed in very. Is it smaller now? But you can see the dots gave it so much more interest and like detail. Don't be unnecessarily mean to yourself. Don't worry. Paint. Be happy. Every art is valuable. I mixed more of the shadow color here, of the brown, to add to the rhubarb. I draw a line along here. And because we didn't do it in a long time, I'm softening it out. We didn't have lines to soften out in way too long, so we have to do it again. Same here in this area. So don't worry about your art being not good enough or anything. It is. Just share it, Be happy. Be brave. Because how will you learn if you don't paint? Don't be afraid. Okay, boys and girls, all together. Now soften those edges. Soften all the edges. Now, on the shadows especially. Put a little bit here in between the fingers. Very carefully. Very carefully. And soften them out. Oh my god. Because we're all pros at softening our edges now. Yes, all together, soften those edges. It's the chant of the stream. We will do the same here. Put down a line. Guess what we're going to do with it? We're softening it out. Also here, in between the toes and fingers, and here too. And we will soften them out. Okay, a little bit more 3D, right? Pillows to heart. Take them to Lana. We will do the same on the other side. We will do the same on the right side of this thing. We'll put down a shadow. And guess what? We'll soften it out too. Very slightly. Because it doesn't have to be too white. Oh, there's a lot of paint. It's okay. We will be okay. We'll soften them out. Pillows too hard. Bring them to Nana. If your pillows are too hard, you have to remove a little bit of the filling. Big trick. So, don't forget to soften out the edges. Shadows look better. Well, sometimes you have hard shadows, but this shadow will look better with softer edges. Okay? Okay. But of course, this is not all. We switched to a smaller brush after we added like the big shadow, sorry. And zoom in again. And go to a smaller brush because we need more shadows. The good shadows, the cool shadows, because the fingers all need shadows. With a smaller brush, go along the fingers, like on the downside, underneath, here. And guess what? We soften them out too. Even the small shadows need a little bit of softening. Okay? We live in the land of soft shadows now. I enhance this look. Go here underneath the finger. Sorry. Underneath the finger, and I'm softening out the shadows. Can you see this? Same goes for here. For this one. I need to do this a little more clear. And I'm softening out the shadows. But here, can you see how this is giving the painting instantly a little bit more depth? Because we also added the shadows here. One day you're going to harden a shadow and we're all going to be worried. Sometimes you have hard shadows. Sometimes you have hard shadows, but sometimes you don't. It depends on the light. If your light source is close to the object, or it's a light source like the sun on a non-cloudy day, you will have hard shadows. But like here, you can see the shadows are lighter because the light source is not close to my fingers. Or on a cloudy day, you will have soft shadows. So you can actually show your viewers by the way you paint the shadows, what kind of light source it is and where it is. So no need to be worried. I am in full control of my shadows. I put some shadow on this finger. And of course I'm softening it out. Of course. I fix like the areas here a little bit. And put a shadow on this finger too. Don't be worried, we're almost done. I know this is a longish tutorial. We actually didn't chat as much today. I feel like we didn't stray as much as during the other streams. It's just a very detailed one. I'm cleaning out the edges here, and oh my god, careful, because this finger isn't like super close on this branch, whatever. We have a shadow that's going here. Leave this area free, and then it connects to the finger here. Okay, so you see, and of course softening it out, it looks like it's not like flat on the rhubarb, but kind of lifted off of it a little bit. Kind of feel like I have to enhance this shadow on the butt, like here. Which you can do with me. Just shadow the butt a little bit more, you know. Just for this perfect butt shape. And I will do the V and softening it out. Because, you know, that's what we do today. When birds have a perfect butt, frogs need a perfect butt too. Okay? With this shadow added, I will zoom out a little bit. You see it's looking more realistic, just like that. Like, the shadows is what we do. Hope you're done with me. Hope you're followed along, because now we will get to the most fun step, and it's the last step too. After this step, we will be done, like, for real. Not only feel like we're done, but actually be done. We will use some white gouache or white gel pen or white ink, whatever you use or have on hand. Okay? Wet it a little bit, so you can work with it nicely. And use the smallest brush. Use the smallest brush you have, because we will go into details a little bit. And I will zoom for it a little bit. Tiny bit. So you can see what we're doing. Okay. I got into the palette with my hand. So make sure your gouache is nicely pre-wetted and opaque. And then do one extra dot that's white, or two, to the eye. We don't see. You don't see? Here. Can you see? I did some dots here. These two. Can you see now, Angel? Off screen, I just have the palette with white. Oh, what can you not see? I will show you everything you need or want. I have more white, and I will put it on up here over the pupil and do some dots. Okay. Not over the pupil, but above the pupil. I don't have white gouache acrylic, but I have white pen that I don't trust. Well, use the white pen you don't trust. I'm sorry. We will also put some tiny white dots on top of the eye here. You know, because frog skin is usually wet and it reflects light. And this is what we're going to... White pens are very untrustworthy. I second that. Wholeheartedly, I second that. But I wanted to give people the option so they don't have to buy anything. Just use what you have. We will put some of the moisture reflection here, like on top of the eyelid. You can put a few dots next to it. Teeny tiny bit. If you lost this bit of white here, enhance this little strip of white on the eye. I lost it accidentally during the first paintings. I just added it afterwards. If you still have it, you did so well. Better than I did the first time I painted this. We will put a little bit of white on the nostril here. Okay. We will put a little bit of white as dots here inside the ear, on the lower part inside the ear. We will put white dots around here. You can cover up, not cover up, but go over the stripes too a little bit. It's very little area here. And we'll do the same on the upper arm here, like above the shoulder, just to show. And it's just dots. I'm just doing dots. Okay. We will do dots on the wrist around here. If you feel it doesn't show, just do the dots. I promise. Sometimes it's just like a subtle difference, and it still is a difference when you look at it later on. On the fingers, I do some lines, very small lines, just around here. Very subtle, just the reflection of white. The forgotten toe, I give it the dot too. Don't forget the toe. On the legs, I do some dots around here. And also on the butt, it will get some dots. Some bigger, some smaller. It's the skin texture. Dotty butt. We will go next to this hand, and I do the same lines on the fingers. Just little reflections here. A little dot on the toesies. Look at this. This tiny dot here makes it wet and shiny already, right? Also there's the lower leg where we do some dots here, maybe kind of a strip here, and maybe kind of a strip here. Oh, I forgot the rhubarb. The rhubarb needs a little bit of shininess too. Because it kind of has like a little bit of white texture, so you can add like some simple white lines as reflection. You don't have to pay too much attention here. You know, it's a little bit of dry brush that I do, just in a few areas. Oh, this is too much. Don't do that. I will dab it away slightly. This is what you can do, by the way, too, if you added too much of something. Just dab it away and you'll be fine. I didn't want like such a strong line. I just wanted like small patterns. Thank you so much. It's been a fun night. Yeah, it's been fun for me too. I'm so glad you all were here. I enjoyed talking to all of you. Thanks for being here. Have sweet dreams. Thanks for painting with me. I appreciate you all. You're all the best people. Like, Dante is asleep too. Good night, sweet dreams. Bye.